Opening statement. It's exciting. Go out there and have fun. Be at your best. Stay in your best positions. Got to go win a lot of tough matches.
Spencer's now at that step where he has a chance to make that final run for a fourth title. How have you seen his approach here since the Big Ten?
Same. I mean, very steady. Probably a good characteristic to have. Steady and consistent.
He's one of two guys that'll be wrestling for a fourth title this week. D1 Wrestling has never seen two guys win four in the same year like this. What's it been like to kind of have a front row seat to one of their pursuits, but then to see two guys potentially go out and make history?
Yeah, I think they are pretty decent acquaintances too. I mean, for a long time. So good. I mean, it's great, and really we're concerned with our guy, but the biggest thing is that the opportunity's there because what they've been able to do, I mean, for themselves and overcoming, and that's how you make opportunities for yourself. You got to overcome a lot. Any path to greatness is, sometimes bumpy in places, and you go on. You get a lump on your head and you move on. And Spencer Lee's been able to do that with the best of them.
Spencer's always seemed pretty much in control, comfort, being at center stage. Is that something you've worked with him on over the years at all? Or?
I think that Spencer is a cool cucumber. I think he's cool under fire. I think he's naturally has a knack for moving on to the next thing the right way. That's not to say that there isn't frustration, but he handles it well, and he can move on quick. And that's a pretty good ingredient for great athletes, I think. Probably one of the better characteristics that you should have in your character is that characteristic. Being able to move forward after a negative result, or if there's frustration there and you maybe go off the rails a little bit, you can bring it back in quick and get back down the right direction. And he has that characteristic.
From the day that he committed, I think he was pretty much thrust into as a face of the program, even before he stepped on campus, and he's handled it with, grace and, had the results to follow that up. What's that say about his mettle to not even live up to the expectations, but surpass that?
I think that, when fans are unfiltered and they come up to you and you haven't even wrestled a college match and they're talking about how great it is to have you here, and we know you're gonna turn it around, and then you roll with that, and it's not like you're put in that spotlight and there's that maybe stress that goes with that expectation, but you just roll with it. He told a story the other day or maybe I heard a story about him the other day where everybody's clamoring to get his autograph, and the fellow that witnessed this said, "Hey, did you do that when you were a little kid?" And he said, "Heck no, I knew I was going to retire those guys, or I knew I was going to be better than those guys, or I knew that I was going to redefine the entire sport of wrestling." And I'll tell you what, that's a good way to march.
Did he accompany the team last year to the championships? Did he go with the team?
He did not. He did not.
So he wasn't there?
At the national championships, he did not accompany the team.
So how does his persona rub off on other guys in your room?
I think when you have that kind of competitive ability, whether it's the mindset, which he has, whether it's the physical tools, and you see him on display, which he has, and how he can regurgitate the history of wrestling and past results and his favorite matches. I think people tune in and listen and they pay attention. I think it's a natural when the results are there and the mouth starts working that people are interested. And that means colleagues and teammates are interested in hearing what he has to say. The biggest mistake would be to ignore something like that as a youngster or someone that is looking to aspire and is maybe new around Spencer. Spencer's been here 6 years now. And I think it would be a mistake to ignore, what he has to say.
Some of the guys that maybe didn't finish where they wanted it, Big Tens, guys like Kobe, Teskey, Assad, how have you seen them over the last week prepare for what's coming this week?
I think it's consistent. There's things you work on. You work on things every week after performance. You have an evaluation period, and then you go to work. But it's been consistent, and it's not a right-hand turn out of nowhere or a 180, about face. We know what we got to do. We know that we're going to have to win a lot of tough matches. And that's regardless if you're the number 1 seed or the 23 seed or whatever you are. We know that we're going to have to win a lot of tough matches.
Where has Real kind of grown over the course of the season and put him in position for?
I don't know if of course he's grown, he's gotten better, but the biggest thing with me is that he's comfortable with who he is, and he was that way when he first came in here, and it wasn't like fake, it was real. And he's still very comfortable with who he is and where he's going. Very, very comfortable in where he's going and the path that he's taken to get there. And that maybe was a little surprising at the beginning, just because, this guy believes in himself. That's good. And it's lasted. He's real. He's the real deal.
A guy like Max who's been to this tournament 3 times, come up 1 match short 3 times. Anything different over the last week, or what's the dialogue been like with him?
Well, I kind of answered that as a blanket answer. You don't just knee jerk and it's more like, we know you're capable. You're the 8 or 9 seed. You're going to have to be ready to go an 11 o'clock round Thursday, and 1 match at a time. And this is where we're going to spend some time, sharpening up. But the biggest thing is that you are ready to go when you step on the mat at your time.
All right.
Somebody wears it. I guess.
All right, going to questions for Spencer.
You spent your entire career focused on the next thing. The next thing is obviously the NCAA championships this week, and you could do something pretty special. Have you thought about what it might mean to accomplish what you want this week?
Yeah, of course. I've definitely thought about it. It just, like I've said before in the past, it'd be the first goal I've ever accomplished in my life. So it'd mean a lot to me. But the thing is I haven't done it yet. So 1 match at a time, and you know how it is. Tough tournament. Got to be ready to go.
How do you feel, just like physically, coming into this tournament, maybe compared to previous tournaments where it's obviously have dealt with varying health
Well, I know I feel better this tournament than I did my previous NCAA tournament.
What was it like watching from the sidelines last year for you?
It was tough. I was not a fan of that. I don't think I'll be a fan of that ever, to be completely honest. It was just weird cheering on the teammates and going down there, talking to them while they're all competing, and I'm just a fan. I wasn't really a big fan of that.
You know, from the time that you committed, you were thrust right into the role of being a face for this program. And it's something you seem to embrace and probably, you know, follow through better than anybody ever has. What's been kind of the key component to handling all that and being able to serve in that role the way you have?
Well, honestly, the key component of that is just focusing on yourself. I mean, I think us 25 pounders for Iowa have always had that kind of, edge to us that we're the guy that we started off. We don't draw. We always want to be first, just because that's our job. And I think if hopefully the future 25 pounders for Iowa are the same way, and they know it's their job to get it started for everyone and to be that the ignition for the guys. And I think that helped me a lot. I'm not sure if I would have been a different weight class, if it would have been the same. I don't know. I just know that being first made me prideful, and the coaches as well helped me in that role as well, knowing that I got to be ready to go and I'll start them off strong.
You could be last on Saturday night.
You know what? I could be, but gotta get there first, and hopefully, that'd be a good problem to have.
Student of the sport, obviously. You and Yanni both have a shot at doing something pretty special this week.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the first time I think in the same year that two guys would win forward. You both accomplished it. Have you thought about that aspect of it that can make this week even more special?
It's just funny. I remember winning nationals, God, a long time ago. It feels like now in 2018 with him, and us kind of hugging each other, being like, "Hey, let's get four together," kind of thing. Obviously, I'm always going to cheer for my teammate in his weight class, and same with him. I mean, Vito is my weight class for 2 years. Obviously, he was going to cheer for him over me, right? So we're in the same boat when it comes to that. But seeing us both win together and us competing against each other, even when we were like 8, 9 years old, it was kind of cool. Seeing us both be successful, and we kind of joked about that. And then with the whole COVID thing, it wasn't going to work out with us in the same year, and then obviously I got hurt. So it's kind of funny now that we're same class again. So it is interesting, but we both got to do our jobs, and Max got to do his job too. So.
What's your guys' friendship, relationship like now, you and Yanni?
I mean, it's so funny. We're not guys who text each other. We never message each other. But if we were in the same vicinity, I mean, we're gonna go up to each other. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation like we've been best friends for as long. I mean, it's just how we are. We're both cordial with each other, and he's super awesome guy. I don't think I've ever met anyone who didn't like him. He's just he's very jovial, and he's he's always smiling, always joking. He's a good dude. I mean, can't hate the kid. It's impossible. And he's obviously a really good wrestler. So.
There's under the idea of you two may not be like best friends, but like you both kind of understand the pursuit that you're on, not just like national titles, but world
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, gosh, dude, we've been wrestling the same tournament since we were like 9. Everywhere. I mean, I've seen him everywhere. So it's just been a cool journey, having the same guys, at the highest level, even from the lowest level as little kids, kind of continue having success and enjoying the process and doing what we are passionate and what we love to do. So
I know it's hard to be reflective when the focus is so forward on the next thing right now, but what has the last 6 years meant to be as part of this program, working with the coaches and all the teammates you've experienced? Can you briefly talk about
yeah, well, it's it's been really fun. It went by fast. It was super exciting to be a Hawkeye, and I'm thankful for my years and my time here, and I plan on sticking around, so I'm not leaving. So I'll still be a Hawkeye, just in name and in past only. But it'll be fun, going to a different role, a mentorship role, more than a selfish role that I've kind of been in the last 5-6 years. So I'm excited for that, but we gotta get there first.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Can you name the other four-time champions?
Yeah, of course. Pat Smith, Logan Stieber, Kale Sanderson, and then Kyle Dake, of course. So. Come on, man.
I want you to take me back all the way to kind of your recruiting process. I know Terry took the lead on it. What was it about the relationship that you guys formed and kind of how he approached the process that kind of sold you on Iowa?
I just loved their passion. I loved how like each and every guy in the room they coached, whether it was a starter or not, got like their blood, sweat, and tears no matter what. I mean, I just remember being a freshman, and when my freshman year team, I'm not putting them down or anything, but we weren't really that close. I wasn't like you know, honestly, I couldn't even name half the guys on my team that year just because like I was so selfish and like no one was like talkative, and it wasn't like I remember being on the bench one time in a match, and there was no one on our bench watching the matches. They were all upstairs on TV. Like, just wasn't that atmosphere yet, you know. And I just remember it didn't matter like to Tom and Terry. They were like every guy, you know, private lessons in the morning. I mean, I remember there was a senior my freshman year. We had already wrestled the Big Ten tournament, and this guy was doing a private lesson with Terry. You know, obviously his season's over, his career's over, and he's still learning. Like he just wanted to, you know, and Terry was doing it anyways. And I just remember going, wow, that's like, he's taking time out of his day. You know, that's not a top 10 guy, and he's still teaching that guy because that guy asked. You know, that's just Tom and Terry. Like they're gonna, whatever you need, blood, sweat, and tears, they're gonna give you their all to everyone, anyone. I mean, your family, and you always will be. And you know, I think that just resonated with me, and I'm like, these guys are amazing. I mean, you know, that you know, I could see a coach going, no, I got to work with the top 10 guys. Big Ten's already happened. Your career's over now. He was like, what do you want to work on? You know, just like, so an hour and a half at like 7:30 in the morning, you know, I remember like running the treadmill going, oh my gosh, he's awesome. So
One or two more.
You've had a lot of adversity. Obviously, everybody knows about the knees. You had to deal with the disappointment of 2020. Can you explain kind of the support network that's kind of helped you maneuver through that adversity and allowed you to, you know, help
Yeah.
you get to where you're at right now?
I mean, I would say we have the best, like, you know, medical staff I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, every doctor, I mean, the amount of hours they've put in and the work, the extra stuff they've had to do. I mean, they're so busy already with everything that they do as you know, being high level doctors. Just to put extra time into me, you know. I mean, obviously my trainer, Jesse Donworth, he's probably put the most time into me just because, you know, he's been around me more. He's part of the team. So, I mean, I would always say I couldn't do it without them, you know, Peterson and Westerman and, you know, Keith and there's Dr. Cruz, and there's so many more that have worked with me, you know, obviously Jesse, and the hours they put in, and, you know, the amount of, you know, tests and MRIs and whatever they've done just to keep me on the mat probably is a little excessive. So, I definitely wouldn't be able to compete without them, and I don't know if I'd be competing this year without them either. So.
I assume you're carrying through pillars of that support.
Oh, absolutely. But like when it comes to like, well, my parents, they don't see any of this. They're not here. They might see me once every 2-3 weeks or once a week at the most. You know, these guys see me every day. Jesse sees me every single day, every morning. You know, so like they know me better than my family even knows me, just because that's just how it's been. You know, even my dad will joke. You know, he'll like try and talk to Tom, and he'll be like, well, you know him better than I do, Tom, you know, because, I mean, he does. I mean, he sees me every single day. He hears me talk. I mean, we have conversation, you know, so it's just different. You know, these are the people that have put me into this situation to be where I'm at today.
All right, thank you, Spencer.
Shit.